My name is Laureen Todd. I'm here to tell you about my Manna moment. It actually took place over a period of 2 years. It was quite a long Manna moment, but a very quick bit of background about me. I did my media degree in Bristol, went straight into BBC in Bristol, then London, and then retrained as a teacher. Came back to Northern Ireland in 2005 with my husband Nick and my baby Rosie, and I managed to get a full-time permanent teaching post. I had a brilliant school, brilliant colleagues, but true to form, 2011, about then I started to get restless. I wanted to go back into TV. My problem was that I didn't have any contacts here. I started making contacts and moving towards that, thinking about it. Could I go back into TV? It was possible. In that time I was reading this book here, which is If You Want to Walk on Water, You've Got to Get Out of the Boat by John Ortberg. And that was really sort of a catalyst and inspiration for me to think more seriously about this. Nick was very supportive, told me to take a career break and see how it went. In 2013, I jumped, I took the risk, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But this book here deals with the story of when Jesus had just fed the 5,000. He goes off to pray on his own, and the disciples go out onto the water, onto the lake, and a storm comes up, and they're absolutely terrified, understandably so. I'll just read to you from Matthew 14, verse 25. It says here, about 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came to them walking on the water. When the disciples saw him, they screamed in terror, thinking he was a ghost. But Jesus spoke to them at once. It's all right, he said. I am here. Don't be afraid. Then Peter called to him, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you by walking on the water. All right, come, said Jesus. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked in the water towards Jesus. But when he looked around at the high waves, he was terrified and began to sink. Save me, Lord, he shouted. Instantly, Jesus reached out his hand and grabbed him. You don't have much faith, Jesus said. Why did you doubt me? And when they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. I really like Peter. He's very human, and his mouth works before his brain does, something that I can identify with. In this instance here, Jesus calls his bluff. He says, come on then, walk towards me. Peter gets out of the boat. I always think about the disciples who were left in the boat. They didn't really experience anything except fear. I'm sure Peter was terrified when he stepped out of the boat, but he kept his eyes fixed on Jesus. He started to sink when he looked at the storms around him. He didn't keep his eyes fixed on Jesus. In 2013, I went on a career break with no job to go to. I left a permanent teaching job, and I was scared, but God has not let me down. I resigned. I got some work, telly work, and God has just completely always met my need when I needed it. It hasn't been exactly when I wanted it, or not always what I wanted, but He has always provided. And the lesson for me in this is that I need to keep my eyes fixed on Jesus. As soon as I look at the circumstances around me, I'll sink. But Jesus reaches out and grabs me by the hand and will not let me drown. If you're at a point where you have to make a decision, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Keep talking to Him. As soon as you look at all your circumstances, you'll start to sink. If you haven't made a decision for Jesus yet and you're thinking about it, but you're worried about what your family will think, or your friends might mock you, or you might fail, so they might mock you. But if Jesus is on your side, you'll be all right. He will grab you by the hand. He will not let you sink. So keep your eyes on Him. And if you want to walk on water, you've just got to get out of the boat. Thanks for listening.